What- talking to camera. Mm. Oh, uh, it's such a massive thing for me. Just even contemplating being in front of the camera, and I've been going through such a massive transition in the last like month or so, where I'm realizing that actually one of the biggest hurdles that I have to overcome is the idea of being seen, and just being seen like genuinely for who I am, and how unsafe that really makes me feel. And I know that a lot of that goes back to my childhood, feelings of rejection, being abandoned and disowned a lot of the time, either like in a really aggressive way by my dad, because he would actually physically disown me and not talk to me for years and years if I didn't behave or be who he wanted me to be, or like uh, comply. If I didn't comply, and if I didn't become a version of him reflected in me, then he didn't want anything to do with me. So the idea of just being like accepted as myself is so foreign to me, and it feels so strange, and it feels so unsafe to put myself out there and be like, oh, okay, here I am, warts and all. These are my thoughts. These are the things that think are valuable. These are the ways I feel that I'm helpful in the world. These are things I feel like I have to give, the gifts that I feel like I have to give. And it's like, it's so frustrating because I'm not doing that, and I'm not honoring the gifts I've been given. And it's one of the most upsetting, hair pulling things that I can possibly think of in my life. And it's the same uh, barrier that's presented itself in every area of my life. And I finally got to a point where I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I've justified it in so many different areas where things just seemed like completely unrealistic, like, being a famous singer. Well, it's okay that I didn't show myself or be vulnerable or bare my soul in that respect, because that's a ridiculous notion and it's never going to happen anyway. But when it comes to something that's like simple and basic and as tangible and achievable as starting a business, that's where I draw the line. I'm just like, I will not be victim to this anymore. And the whole reason why I wanted to talk about it is not really, yes, it's to share kind of the journey that I'm on at the moment, because I'm hoping that that journey is going to help people. Um, but more than that, it was like I was thinking about how this is the work that I'm so passionate about, that I'm actually living right now, that these wounds, these traumas, these inflictions that I've had from my parents, I mean, they've only just come from their parents, so I don't even really have any hate in my heart for them. I don't judge them. I understand completely why they are the way that they are and why they needed to do what they needed to do and what their MO is like as people. And the fact that they couldn't ever really overcome that, or, you know, I don't know, maybe they have overcome it to a certain extent, but particularly when I was younger, it didn't appear that way. I'm not here to analyze either of my parents because actually I don't really know them. I don't know them as people. I don't know who they are, what they like, but that's a separate issue. But I guess I'm just saying that this is so symbolic of that generational trauma, that generational pattern behavior, that generational way of being towards somebody and then being towards yourself, you know, that harsh, you're not good enough unless you're perfect or unless you're what I want you to be, unless I'm controlling you. You will not be accepted, not by me and not by the world. Because the fact is that if you're not accepted by your own parents, then what is the likelihood that you're going to be accepted by the world? And we all know that it's not true on a cognitive level, but actually in your body, like in your body holds those scars, those wounds, that memory. It's like muscle memory. It's like sewed into the sinew of your being that nobody is going to accept you. And it's like, this is the work. And it's really difficult. It's really difficult. It's really, really challenging to push yourself forward into something that doesn't feel safe, that doesn't feel good, that is completely unknown to you, but that somehow inherently in your body and yourself, you know that you need to move towards in order to shift the sands of time in terms of your family and your family's patterns so that you don't do the same thing for your children. And it's funny that this is coming up in such a visceral and such a tangible, such a concrete way for me at the moment in terms of this business, in terms of putting myself out there, because actually it represents and it symbolizes everything that I feel about myself, everything that I've been taught to feel about myself is consumed. I am consumed by it in these moments. But I think that's the work, and that's like the sacrifice and the motivation, you know, that you have to have in order to want to try and change these things. If you can see them, you know, once you can see them, then you do have a responsibility. Or you have a choice, not so much a responsibility, you have a choice to do the same or do different. And you need to live with that choice, whatever it is that you make, because either of them isn't easy. It's not easy to decide you're going to completely change the entire framework of your being and you're going to crack open your foundation to see if you can build another one for yourself that's healthier. But it's equally difficult to choose to stagnate and to stay in that place, especially when you have that awareness, because ignorance isn't bliss anymore. You're too aware, and if you choose to stay in that space and not move, that's difficult in itself because you have to live with that knowledge all the time. But yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at the moment. It's a very scary place, to say the least. Oh, it's so scary. but I'm working and I'm persevering, and I want desperately to heal this wound. And I know that in doing so, there's a very high likelihood that I will heal the wounds of everyone that's gone before me and the descendants, the generations that are going to come after me. And if that's my job, and I'm the one that's got to do the hard work, and I'm the one that's got to make the sacrifice, and I'm the one that can't just think about myself and what's easiest for myself, then so be it. So be it.